Welcome everyone. Once again, we are racing in California. The Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series winds its way through wine country. Sonoma Raceway, located at Sears Point here in California, set to showcase the future of Champ Car racing. Veterans and rookies alike meshed together for the second road course race of the season. A phenomenal job by Maria Chavez, the 29 for Scuderia Guia, the Firestone P1 award winner here in Sonoma. Maria Chavez has had a phenomenal trend upwards in recent weeks. They're trying to keep that intact there for Scuderia Guia right now. Another driver trending upwards, Asada Quito, the 22 for Verizon Team Impulse. They will share the front row together. You see them front and center on your screen here. It has been a wild start of the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series season. Top 10 points scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Isabel Lantra has held on with a firm grip to the top of the championship standings, but the gap has whittled away. Rachel Cuevanemi, also top 10 here on the grid, closing in, as is Maria Chavez, who's moved up to third in the points. Jake Carter for Crystal Cove Racing, fourth place in points. It's very important the top four have a chance to get promoted to the World Series next season. A very important and tantalizing prospect for the teams and the drivers involved to try to make something happen here this season. Everyone's trying to make a play for that. We'll walk through the starting grid here momentarily as everyone tries to trend in the right direction going into Indianapolis in the Gamebridge 300 in May. That's the next race coming up here in the Challenger Series. Chavez and Quito, they're on the front row. The 29, the 22, again, trending in the right direction. Another car trending in the right direction, Seth Smith Jr., third place on the grid alongside Nara Takarasi, the former Indianapolis 500 champion from 2012. Row 3, Roberto Crown Jr., who has a lot of experience in this track on the stock car side of things from the NAMRA Cup Series, sitting in row 3 alongside Isabel Espinoza. Valerie Fang and Rachel Cuevanemi sit in row number 4. Valerie Fang trying to pick up the pace here. Now we've gotten through the first 4 races of the season to really try to make some inroads here towards the top of the standings. Cuevanemi, talked about it, being second place in points. Once again out qualifying Lantra, but not in an ideal spot. Outside 4th row, not quite where they were expecting to try to get that 61 car here tonight. Kira Moore and the 36 of Sonia Walker sitting in row 5. Kira Moore, the former Canadian F4 champion. Sonia Walker, the 2021 NAMRA Cup Series champion, in that 5th row, rounding out the top 10. Luisa Flores has had a phenomenal run of form, most recently here in California. Sitting in row 6 is where she'll start in 11th place alongside the second Cat Double Racing car, Mia Vitsut. Vitsut starting right behind her teammate in that 36 car, Sonia Walker there 10th, Vitsut there in 12th. Row 7, looking a little bit further down the running order here, you'll see Yumina Mizuno and Katrina Ochoa. Row 8, Jace Clark and Karina Sakurauchi. Karina, the 12 car for Verizon Team Impulse, had a lot of time spent at home from Night City. Got to spend some time in Night City for the Nikola 225. Also got to spend some time in Fontana and now here in Sonoma before we head to Indianapolis. Very familiar territory for the 12 car. Jake Carter and Sora Hoshino make up row number 9. Row 10, Arashi Seto and the 66 of Aspasia Megalos. They round out your top 20 in this 32-car field. Looking at the rest of the order, we got Rika Venalainen and Isabel Lantra, row 11. Lantra once again outside the top 20 to start this race off. Rex Riley and Keisha Fox in row 12. Del Blanco and Amity Polstrix in row 13. Row 14, Karina Amara and Katerina Milenkovic. Maria Damata and Felicia Zappa, row 15, the top 30. And the final row is Natalia Kirichenko and Yuya Ishii. Penalties were served by Vitsut, Ishii, and Damata for engine penalties from last time out in Fontana. They'll try to make their way through the grid, but we'll send it trackside now so we can get this party started.
Drivers, start your engines!
The roar of 32 champ car machines roar to life for the first time as everything gets started in Sonoma, wine country, here in Sears Point, beautiful coastal area in California, is where 25,600 horsepower comes to life. 800 horsepower per car will roll through the hills here in Sonoma, led by the Ford Raptor pace truck. Maria Chavez on pole, ahead of the 22 Vasada Quito. They will lead the field to green over 32 cars. First time we've been to Sonoma since the 2018 season. Not sure what everyone's going to see here, other than a lot of brawling, especially the further back in the field you go. 32 cars is going to be wild here, and you see it's a short course, not the full course. We're not taking the carousel that winds to the inside of the racetrack. We're using the short version. 1.99 miles in effect here for 96 laps. Lap time's just a little over a minute. It's right in the same range as Portland, just up the coast here. Very slow pace, speed for the field. The crawling 45 miles an hour around Sonoma Raceway. But the field knows what's at stake here. Momentum heading in to Indianapolis for the Cambridge 300. For a lot of drivers, their first opportunity to race at the hollowed Brickyard. They want to leave here with the most momentum possible. Maria Chavez has the best chance to do so early. We know the chaos that can spawn here at Sonoma in a heartbeat, especially on these starts. 32 drivers have to keep their cool for 96 laps. Field will cluster up here around the final corner. You see the start zone in effect. Green flag is in the air. Away we go here in Sonoma. Chavez with a really good start. Same with Seth Smith Jr. They'll go side by side though, up the hill, through turns 1 and 2 and through the S's. Asada Quito challenging back. They're still staying side by side there. There's Isabel Espinoza, 5th place. Secured. Asada Quito takes the lead of the race. Through the S's, through turn 4. Runs wide. Whoa! Contact between Chavez and Quito. And they'll be side by side now through turn 7. For the first time at speed. A little too much curving there for Quito. But Chavez also goes wide, really wide, into the tires. Isabel Espinoza watching her teammate go for the wildest of rides. And cautions out. On lap 1, what a brawl between Quito and Chavez that ended out worst for Chavez, who sends it right to the inside of Yuya Ishii. But you see the damage on all sides of that 29 car. All the carbon fiber laying track side through turn 9. Will bring us down to a slow crawl. What a battle they had early. And from Maria Chavez, a potential grace and being allowed to get that car fixed. That was a nasty impact there for Chavez. We'll see if we can get it up on our screens here. This is a replay of the entire start where they went slugging early. Asada Quito got a really good run up the hill. But Chavez able to fire back. Still side by side behind them was Takarasi and Seth Smith Jr., who got a really good picture of all of this. Quito sliding out wide, doing everything that he could to keep that car on the racetrack, and running still wide again. Contact there. That's the first bit of contact between the two, as they were just slugging it out from the start immediately. Quito grabs a little bit too much curb here, and you see that he hops it a little bit. But then Chavez just completely misses the line, and just a huge contact there. And you see half the car went off the ground there. When it landed, it damaged the other side. And for Chavez having to just crawl back into motion. See a lot of dust and sand being kicked up. Lantra got off track there as well, being passed there by the 72 of Rex Riley. Rex Riley doing a really good job shooting the inside lane there, getting around not only Lantra, but really taking a shot there at Keisha Fox on the opening lap. A little bit of contact between the two. At the live pictures here, pit lane going to be open for a few cars. See if any of the front runners do take the opportunity. And they do. Seth Smith Jr. down, so is Asada Quito. That gives Nera Takarasi and Isabel Espinoza the top two spots, with Rachel Koivanami and Valerie Fang sitting now in the top four. Sonia Walker to the top five. Then you have not Isabel, Lantra. Lantra's still a little bit further back, but Luisa Floros, 75 for Faceporia, sitting in that run as well. Seems like a splash and dash was what was taken by Asada Quito. There's some fuel games being played early. Some drivers are indeed taking tires though, and that's those further back. Kira Moore, Mia Vitsud all took tires. So did the 12 of Karina Sakurauchi. There's Sora Hoshino and Rika Venalainen. A decent chunk of the cars further behind did. Maria Chavez, the pole sitter, still on pit lane, undergoing some extensive repairs. But Nera Takarasi will lead the way on this restart. The 57, the 26, the 61, and the 45. Sorry, 54 Valerie Fang. The 45 on Lantra still further back after also coming down pit lane. So for Lantra, gonna be a pretty sharp dive down the order. A lot of traffic to work through. Double file on that initial start. The restarts though are single file here at Sonoma. You see just how much the terrain changes in that background there. That's the hill. Turns 1 through 4, really 1 through 3 already up there. Turn 4 a little bit downhill. Turn 7 even more downhill as they work downhill towards pit entry. Lights out on the pace car. Maria Chavez back in motion here. Car looking a lot better this go around. She'll line up 32nd and last. The field all put together once again to go right back at it here. Now Takarasi will immediately have pressure from Isabel Espinoza and from Rachel Koivanami. Takarasi, the Slovenian, ahead of Isabel Espinoza, the Argentine. Then the Finnish driver of Koivanami and the Hong Konger of Valerie Fang. Antonia Walker, the first American driver in the order, in 5th. It is Takarasi in control of the field, rolling through the restart zone. Goes late, but we are back underway here in Sonoma. Immediate peek to the inside lane. That was by, I believe that was by Yumina Mizuno, but didn't make anything of it. Here comes Floros. Took a shot at trying to get around the 36 of Walker. It did not work. Mizuno staying behind as well. Everyone drifting out wide on the exit of turn 3, down the hill to a 4. There's Mizuno, the 23, that Nicola, number 23. There's Chase Clark, also with the order in that Coca-Cola cherry machine. And here goes Aspasia Megalos, the 66, with a dive and a send around Katrina Ochoa. Megalos with a huge send. Another car off, 2 cars off. That's Floros and Walker. And I have a feeling it's another caution incoming. It has to be, and it is. Floros unable to get moving once again after contact with Sonia Walker in turn 9 once again, proving to be the killer. And it looks like this could be day done for Sonia Walker as well, as the field gets across the line and now approaches the pace truck. What happened to Sonia Walker and Luisa Floros? The 75 and the 36. Really good track position, 5th and 6th. Floros took a shot. It didn't pan out there. Everyone's struggling. Cold tires, very cold tires. It takes about a lap and a half for them to really fire up here. Everyone just on needles. Floros took a shot at getting around Sonia Walker, just like what her teammate Megalos did to the 27 of Ochoa, and you see the hard impact there, just missing the tire barrier too, so that's all concrete. And Floros with that compound hit from Walker, who hit afterwards. Walker staying off the racetrack in the sand. Floros' car unable to be refired here, so that could be an immediate retirement. Cars just trying as hard as they can to get around the racetrack here. It's not easy. Aspasia Megalos, though, very critical on that send around Katrina Ochoa. Is absolutely magical, that send through turn 7. And smart move by Ochoa by not really fighting that too awful hard. And now you see cars coming down pit lane now. Chase Clark stays out, so does Valerie Fang. And Valerie Fang will inherit the race lead now. 2 quick cautions in succession here. Really have messed with the way the field is operating at the moment. Rolling down the order here, very long pit lane, 37 miles an hour the pit speed here. A lot of cars coming down pit lane. It looks like a lot of fuel only situations going on right now at the moment. Mantra comes in as Polstrix comes out of pit lane. And you see there is Maria D'Amata. Only 2 cars stayed out, Chase Clark and Valerie Fang. Fang will lead the field around. 2 cars out. Sonia Walker and Luisa Floros, they were both involved in that last incident. They're both out. Everyone on pit lane now. Minus those 2 and out. It's Takarasi and Espinoza and Chloe Vanami as they were going in. Everyone really working on strategies now that we've had 2 quick cautions and some fuel saving going on. But 2 cars out early. Maria Chavez already back up and into the 25th position, I do believe. Never mind, she is back down here in 30th position. She previously jumped up to 25th, but dropped right back down to do some more repair work on that 29 car, but still running, which is the first step. And 2 cars have already failed at that hurdle. Sonia Walker and Luisa Floros after a nasty hit in turn 9 into the concrete barrier, missing the tire wall completely in this corner right here. It will be Valerie Fang now, front of the field. Chase Clark, 2nd place. with some work to do. And then Nara Takarasi in third. Everyone chomping at the bit to get back racing. Everyone being daring tonight here in Sonoma. Rolling through the last corner now. It'll be Fang, Clark, Takarasi. Your front three. 30 cars still running. As we get ready to go here in Sonoma once again, second restart underway. Green flag in the air, away we go. Immediate peek out there by Ochoa, trying to get around Megalos once again. After Megalos sent down into the corner before. Megalos also looking to the inside of Mizuno. Mizuno trying to go after Koivanami. Everyone ends up ultimately staying where they're at. Cars go wide, and it's the two cars that stayed out on the coldest tires of the bunch. And Fang holds on to the race lead. Jace Clark loses several spots. Koivanami sends it clear of Jace Clark. But they're side by side once again. And Koivanami this time does not make the mistake that Floros and Chavez made earlier. And they all get through that time safely. Rolling through the hill. Chavez already up 3 spots. But issues, and that's why Jake Carter, the 55 car, didn't even make it to turn 9. So third caution comes out immediately, and this is an even harder impact. Front left assembly gone on the 55 as they come back around to the caution for the third time tonight. And this is why 3 wide immediately. Maria da Mata, oh my goodness. Three wide immediately. Maria da Mata ended up in pit lane as well. Jake Carter up and over in a vicious crash. And that's 3 wide with Katerina Milenkovic. Isabel Lantra got a piece of it too. I believe so did Maria Chavez. We'll have to see. Yeah, huge piece of it for Maria Chavez there. And Isabel Lantra, who was at the back of the field and saw cars flying over hers. So multi-car crash on that restart. Cars going 3 wide for the third caution of the night. They didn't even make it till turn 1. Jake Carter going for the most violent ride. We'll look at it one more time here. See if we can get a different angle of this. This is 3 wide. Maria da Mata is in that inside lane. It's Katerina Milenkovic on the outside lane. And 3 into that area of the racetrack just does not work. Milenkovic didn't have a lot of place to go. But you see immediately the impact there by Jake Carter and by Maria da Mata. Really hit Isabel Lantra hard. And Lantra does a really good job just to save that car from just immediately careening to the outside wall there. And you see Carter, when he lands, he hits right at the foot of the hill. Sends him right into the air. Lands again, and he almost goes over the wall there. Luckily, the wall keeps Carter inwards here, but that could have been a disaster in every shape and form. And you see Maria da Mata couldn't get going either. And And this was as everything was happening up at the front of the field with Clark and Fang going wide. So all of it's happening all at the same time. See Corbin Amy tries to bounce her way around. Corbin Amy flirts with Sam but doesn't get it. And Clark is able to onto the position though, having that momentum. Valerie Fang was able to waltz away for a moment. Stays out here, does not come down pit lane. A couple cars did. Maria Chavez did. Katerina Milinkovic did, just to check to make sure there wasn't a flat tire on that 30 car. Milinkovic's left rear did make contact with the winglet from Jake Carter in that accident. But they're about the only two that came down pit lane there. Lantra, Carter, and Mata, though, all out. With Lantra, it makes sense. It looks like there might have been some damage to that nose assembly and potentially to the windscreen that protects the drivers. If that gets damaged, it's an instant retirement. Lantra could have had damage to that windscreen and been forced out of this race, and that puts it really in the hands, points-wise, of Koivu, who has the ability now to make some really good inroads to become the points leader entering Indianapolis. Right now sitting fourth on the grid right now, ahead of Mizuno, just behind Jace Clark. But a huge break for a lot of drivers. Maria Chavez has a chance to really gain as well, still running. We saw the 29 car at the back of the field after getting more repairs. Green flag back in the air and away we go. Third restart after very quick cautions in succession, and they've been violent crashes throughout. He's seemingly getting more violent as the race progresses here, and we're only on lap 10. Cars driving out wide there just a little bit there. Into turn 4 we go, and Valerie Fang looking poised and comfortable at the front of the field. Takarasi second, Clark third, and it's a lot of interesting battling throughout the order. Here comes Polsatrek, sends it down the inside and around Quito, who could do nothing about it. A fantastic pass by Polsatrek, who now looks to try to pick off Karina Amara. Amara went after the 27 of Ochoa, and it didn't work out. And cautions out again, and Sora Hoshino's the reason why. Once again, turn 9. What happened with Hoshino, who was sitting pretty far back at the restart there, was not up to a fellow Team Sakura car, the 52 of Hirashi Seto. You see the melee going up the hill here to turns 2 and 3. This is a replay for those that are following along. This is what happened to Sora Hoshino. Teammates side by side, the 52 and the 09. It looks like pretty similar to what happened to Maria Chavez on the first caution, but we have 4 cautions pretty quickly. There is the 26 of Isabel Espinoza getting right around there. Hoshino tries to fight back. And this does not work out for somebody, and it's not going to work out for Hoshino because of contact with Felicia Zappa, who moved Hoshino out of the way. And almost got moved by Keisha Fox, Rika Benalainen, and Karina Sakurauchi, the 12. They went 3 wide through turn 10 and into 11. They all had it situated and figured out, but Sora Hoshino in huge trouble. Not nearly as much damage as the 29 of Chavez, but damage nonetheless. And another caution out with drivers just being super physical so far in the early goings here in Sonoma. Second road course race of the season. A lot of the drivers here, road course specialist drivers. So they've been looking forward to this race about the same way that they were looking forward to Adelaide at the beginning of the season. It just aggression over adhesion at the moment. And a lot of black flags currently underway. Sakurauchi, Venäläinen, Fox, and Riley for passing before the start-finish line. Cars coming down pit lane. Valerie Fain decides now on lap 11 to come down pit lane. Lap 11 now being completed. Nara Takarasi will cycle back to the race lead ahead of Rachel Koivanemi and Yumina Mizuno. So fourth caution of the night for Sora Hoshino, who you saw there just right now leaving pit lane after getting repair work done. Looks like mostly a rearward hit for Hoshino. You see some front wing damage as well as they're going through that excursion in the sand. Lights out on the safety truck. We're going green at the end of this lap. But again, it's been a wild, caution-filled start to this race. Pace truck is in. Takarasi leads the field to green once again. The 57 out front. Everyone peeks to the inside. That is Roberto Crown Jr., the Black Rose Racing driver, under attack from Natalia Kurachenko. Yuri Ishii started this race 32nd and last, up to the top 10 at the moment. Side by side, up the hill. And Ishii under a threat now, as that's the 27 of Ochoa that took an excursion into the sand through turn 3. Saves it enough to stay on the racetrack through turn 4, but being passed by Pulsatrix. Here comes Ishii side by side with the 10 of Crown. Crown gets clear. Now it is Kurachenko side by side with the 44. Everyone rolling through turn 9. It's been the most treacherous corner on the racetrack so far. No caution, but you saw 2 cars lingering. That is a 12 of Sakurauchi and the 72 of Riley. But they are keeping it green here. So green flag racing in earnest now as Takarasi leads Koivanemi. Let's take a look real quick as Riley and Sakurauchi enter pit lane. What happened to these 2 drivers? A little bit of contact between Riley and Chavez there. And this has to be up the hill here. There's nothing at turn 9. Everyone just stacked up going up the hill. A little bit of contact, a little bit of sliding. Somehow that's not a caution. That's very interesting, given how bad that can be. I'm assuming because they were at the back of the field, they let it slide because there was no more incoming traffic. And there's trouble through 9 once again, and it's Amara, and I believe that's Isabel Espinoza, the 26. See if we can get eyes on it. No, it's Mizuno, the 23. So caution will come out now. Drivers trying really hard to make past Sappin in turn 9, and they're just not there. Car coming out of pit lane, a lap down is Sakurauchi. Turn 9 once again, grabbing Mizuno and Amara. And here it is, Mizuno and Amara, the 4 and the 23. This is 3rd and 4th on the racetrack. And Amara really capitalizing on a mistake by Mizuno through turn 3 and 4. Mizuno trying to fight back. Through turn 7 here, still side by side. Amara did not get a good run there through 7. And is this going to be on? Oh, this is going to be 100% on Amara, clipping the sand. They both go for a ride. It looks like Mizuno grabs the worst of that, comparatively speaking. Amara getting back rolling a little bit quicker. But now at the back of the field, everyone cycling back through here. There is Maria Chavez still rolling, Rika Vanalainen. 5th caution already. We are 15 laps in. Cars coming down pit lane this time again. Everyone just cycling through pit stops here. Just topping off with fuel mostly. We've not seen a lot of cars take a set of tires yet. Although I would assume that this is about the time you start taking tires just to kind of get some fresh tires on with all the sand that's been pulled onto the racetrack over the last 5 cautions. This does give Asada Quito, I do believe, a chance at the race lead. And Sakurauchi leading the way, but a lap down. It's going to be Valerie Fang leading. And then it is Asada Quito, 2nd place there, the 22, ahead of Arashi Seto, Keisha Fox. And I believe further back there, that is Maria Chavez at 29. So lights out on the pace truck here. We're going to go green for the 5th restart of this race. It has been a violent affair so far. 5 cautions, 5 cars out. Lantra, Carter, D'Amata, Walker, Floros, all out of this race. Sakurachi controls the restart. Green flag back in the air. And you see James Clark immediately storms to try to get around Maria Chavez. A little bit of contact there, shuffling Chavez out of the way. 5th restart underway. Maria Chavez still wounded from that lap 1 caution, creating a bottleneck. A siphon at the front. Kurchenko gets around. Megalos looking to get around. So is her teammate there, the 27 of Ochoa. Chavez sends it to the inside. Just, I don't think, has the grip to really make things happen that way. Further back, it's Takarasi and Ishii side by side. Everyone largely gets through okay. Sakurachi leads after getting that car repaired. That 12 car still lead lap. If caution does come out, Sakurachi's in the best place possible to try to make some things happen. Everyone trying to get around Maria Chavez, who was hoping to have a little bit more pace in that car after the extensive repairs that have been done. And unfortunately, it's not been the case as Ishii gets around Sora Hoshino. Up the hill they go there. Takarasi getting around Hoshino, sending it through the inside of 7. This is where it can get dangerous once again. See all the skid marks there, turn 9. Everyone doing battle there. Several cars coming down pit lane. That is Sakurachi, who's had a penalty to serve for passing before the start finish line on the 4th restart. So the restart before the one we just had. Coming down to serve that penalty now. It gives Valerie Fang clean real estate. Masada Kito, another one that had a penalty for passing before the green flag, also came down. So it gives Arashi Seto and Keisha Fox the top 3 spots here over Chase Clark and Aspasia Megalos. Car off track just a little bit is Chloe Vanemi. Kiza pointing in the right direction ahead of Maria Chavez, so not a lot of pressure right now. Pulsatrix on the lead lap and battling with Ochoa right now for the 7th spot. Ishii gets around Chavez here as they roll through the S's now through turn 9. And you see the lack of grip there from Chavez, the damage on the rear side of that car. Really making havoc for the Mexican driver. Venalainen served a penalty, so did Rex Riley. Sakurachi serving a penalty as well as Asada Kito. Here comes Takarasi to the inside, trying to force Chavez offline. The racing now in earnest here. Starting lap 20 of 96. A long way to go. 77 laps left in this circus. And staying in pit lane is Karina Sakurachi. Maybe a little bit more damage on that 12 car than we expected. There's Asada Kito back out on track. And there is Katerina Milinkovic. Side by side teammates here, the 09 and the 23, who have not had a good day at all. Both of them involved in incidents so far here in Sonoma. Almost contact between the two teammates there. As here comes Valerie Fang, leading the way once again, looking for a race win for the first time in Champ Car competition. Couldn't get it in the World Series. It's part of the Cat Never Racing squad for a year and a half. Now trying to do what her teammate Isabel Lantra did at the start of the season in Adelaide, by bringing Phoenix Motorsports another victory. Vashi Seto would like to have something to say about that. And then you have Keisha Fox. There is Chase Clark going for a little excursion out into the sand out of turn 3. There is Spacio Megalos, Natai Kurachenko, Katrina Ochoa, Emily Polsotrix, Rachel Koivanemi closing in, as is Yuya Ishii, who started this race dead last. He's done a fantastic job right now into the 10th spot at the moment. Mia Vitsut has gotten around Maria Chavez, as has Nara Takarasi. Here goes Isabel Espinoza. Roberto Crown Jr. could not do the same before 9, but will wait until after turn 9 to try to make it happen again. Everyone just trying to pick and roll around Maria Chavez at this point. Crown, Blanco, and Zappa, the next 3 cars in line here. Racing in earnest here. There is Takarachi being lapped once again after returning to the racetrack. Not a great run here for the Night City resident. Car really out wide. That was Polsotrix, who almost tagged the wall out of 3. A lot of sand being kicked up there out of turn 3. It allows Koivanemi to get clear. So Koivanemi now up to the 8th spot. Everyone using all the racetrack is available and then some. Vitsut now clear in 11th place, trying to stay ahead and close in on the top 10. Same with Nara Takarasi and Isabel Espinoza. Roberto Crown Jr. got clear. So did Felicia Zappa. Del Blanco now next in line. Try to get around Maria Chavez here through turn 10 to 11 as we go. The race closing in a little bit here, half a second between Valerie Fang and Arashi Seto. A little bit of sand kicked up there by the 62 of Keisha Fox. Racing here at Sonoma for the first time. At the front of the field here still. You see Hoshino falling back. Whoa! Really sideways drift there. Seth Smith Jr. coming out. Cars coming down pit lane. That's Rika Venalainen in pit lane. So is Seth Smith Jr. Whoa! Trouble. Car around backwards. That is Blanco who's around backwards. That was far and away from the racetrack there. What happened to the 56 of Blanco? Karina O'Mara with damage still. Holy cow. What happened to Dale Blanco there? It looks like several cars struggling here. Ocean is back around Mizuno. Looking at the lap times at the moment, lap times at the front of the field are still staying pretty consistent. About 1:06. 1:07 is being placed right now. Fastest lap of the race right now so far is a 1:06.4. So we're not too far away from the best lap time so far. It seems like some drivers may just be struggling pretty big with the tires here. Let's take a look at Dale Blanco. What happened to the 56 car? Jake Carter already out of this race. This is Blanco trying to get around. Oh, this is what happened with Amara also going for a wild ride in front of Rex Riley. So Amara is clipping Dale Blanco as Blanco is trying to make a pass on Maria Chavez. And here comes Amara down, and caution is out once again for the 6th time tonight. We've got a caution. Oh, whoa, that's a Sadakito running wide in once again turn 9. Unforced error for Asada Quito has really thrown this race into a blender here. Choa also having issues of some kind at the 27 car, the DoorDash machine. Cars coming down pit lane here. It puts Chase Clark at the front of the field. Car out Dale Blanco, as we expected from that hard impact in turn 1. So 6 retirements early on here. A very violent race here at Sonoma. sixth caution of the night here in Sonoma. Chase Clark as the race leader over Natalia Kurachenko. And then it's Rich Koivanami and Yuya Ishii, your top four. Amity Polstrik's top five. Everyone's got work to do at this point as we start lap 28 on the green flag here. It's been violent, it's been messy. Green flag in the air. Chase Clark hoping to thrive on the chaos for the first time this season if he can get to the victory lane. Seems like a huge ask at this point. Whoa, trouble further behind. Two cars shoot off in turn one. That is Fang and Amara. And caution out immediately. Car steering penalty, that was a couple car steering penalties here. Amara and Valerie Fang in trouble immediately. And immediately we're looking at caution number 7 tonight. This is where it very clearly enters time limit territory at best. Champ Car officials may just call this at lap 48 with how this is going. We're already 7 cautions in and 2 more cars have fallen out. Valerie Fang and Karina Amara following a violent crash in turn number 1 once again. And this is Valerie Fang on the attack. Peeks the inside late. Just a little bit of contact, and if we know they're both hooked together and into the tire barrier, at least there's tire barrier there for that incident. Very easily could have once again been pure concrete. Seventh caution of the night. Pit lane, you see Chase Clark being one of them. And relinquishes the race lead to Rachel Koivanami. Sets Valerie Fang and Karina Mara out of this race. Valerie Fang had the most laps led by a large margin, led 17 laps in this race so far. Now it's in the hands of Rachel Koivuniemen, Amity Polstrix, Rika Venäläinen, who needed this race to go well. Karina Sakurachi, who's 4 laps down, is in the mix as well. There's Mia Vitsut, there is Nera Takarasi, and then you have Felicia Zappa, sitting right now top 5. Sadakito also back up to the top 6. They're having to serve a penalty earlier, being dropped out of that conversation. Maria Chavez also back in the mix as well. As the field rolls through, we're going to go green at the end of this lap. Everyone's had a chance to come down pit lane. You see the 30 of Katerina Malinkovic, the 30 car, still on pit lane at the moment. Long pit stop there. You see the pace car and everything rolling around. Malinkovic will go a lap down here, it looks like. Rolling through turn 10 now. Malinkovic will go a lap down here pretty early, pretty easily, I think, at this point. But she won't be alone in that either. And Malinkovic will start rolling now, but too late. Stay on the lead lap. Green flag in the air and away we go. It's Koivuniemen leading. Almost trouble early. Further down the order, and there is trouble. That is, I believe, that's the 52 of Arashi Seto in the sand. Green flag stays out at the moment. Far out of the way and out of traffic. But Arashi Seto, that is now 3 for 3 on Team Sakura cars involved in trouble here in Sonoma so far. And now we approach turn 9. We look further down the order because you see Maria Chavez in this mix, passed by Megalos, trying to get past by Jace Clark. Seems like everyone largely gets through this one okay. So we'll go back green in earnest after our 7th caution of the race. Polstrix right on the heels of Koivuniemen. Koivuniemen leading under green, one of many race leaders so far this race. Koivuniemen's led laps, so is Takarasi, who's led 7. Sadakito's led 1, 3 laps led by Jace Clark. Obviously the most laps led there by Valerie Fang, who is now out of this race. And everyone just struggling to keep themselves under control here. You see Amity Polstrix once again wide out of 3, passed by Venäläinen, almost passed by Takarasi, the 57 car in the 71. They'll go single file once again through turns 8 and 9. They are slipping and sliding on these primary tires here. And whoa, trouble! Car in the sand, and that is Chavez again, 2nd time. That 29 car has gone wide, and the pace car is out. Once again, 8th time tonight. 8th caution of the night once again for Maria Chavez, who immediately comes down pit lane. Is this a retirement for Chavez from pole position? Looks like it might not be. They're going to try to get that car repaired once again. That car rolling. Interesting there for Maria Chavez, and try to keep that car rolling, and they know it's a stake right now. Maria Chavez right now sits 16th on the lead lap. So pit lane's going to be open this time. See who all takes it. It is Koivuniemen, Venäläinen, and Pulsatrix leading up to the 8th caution here in 33 laps. Now, not how we expected this was going to be. And most of the field does come in, with the exception of the 40, Natalia Kurachenko. Kurachenko won here at the lead of this race. Kira Moore moves up to 2nd. Roberto Crown Jr. moves up to 3rd. Katrina Ochoa moves up to 4th. And it's Jace Clark in the top 5 once again, ahead of Seth Smith Jr., who is still a lap down. Sorry, no, that's Yumina Mizuno, Seth Smith Jr., and then Sora Hoshino. Mizuno a lap down, so is Seth Smith Jr. Sora Hoshino is on the lead lap, so Hoshino will move up. A lot of cars though a lap down or more. We are at 24 running at this point. Maria Chavez, last car on the lead lap in 16th. Flag in there. You saw the light turn on. Once again, we go back at it. Pandemonium once again is so in trouble in turn 1. Megalos gets a part of it. Everyone else checks up. crash, though. Hosh, you know, one of those cars, Seth Smith Jr., and I think that is the 66. It is. Meanwhile, Rika Venäläinen out in front. And clearly out in front as well. Ahead of Natalia Kurachenko. Kira Moore second, third place, or fourth place right now is looking to be Roberto Crown Jr. if he can hold on to it. Meanwhile, a lap down, Rex Riley, Yumina Mizunau battling for the first car lap down honors at the moment. 9th caution of the night. It's a multi-car crash. Aspasia Megalos getting the best part of it, but that's not saying much. There's Sir Hoshino, who is about to be done with this race. Same with Seth Smith Jr. Both of them at a promising start. It is not to be here. Rika Venäläinen, who is, by the way, 2 laps out, I guess I should add here. Venäläinen not in the conversation here. Not leading this race. Still Kurachenko leading. Venäläinen just getting a lap back, though. You see Venäläinen officially getting that lap back here over the 40 of Kurachenko. Kira Moore up to second. Roberto Crown Jr. in third. We are not even to lap 40 yet, and we're on caution number 9. Ninth caution of the race. Hoshino and Seth Smith Jr., both of them predictably out of this race now. Going green for the 9th restart of this race at the end of this lap. We'll take this to the rule book because it's very important at this point. In order to be considered a full race and score points, 49 laps must be completed. That's halfway plus 1 lap. There is a limit on races that are not part of the Champ Car Triple Crown. Races under normal circumstances must be completed in no longer than 2 hours and 30 minutes. Triple Crown events such as in the Indianapolis 500, the 500-mile race in Fontana, and the 500-mile race in Michigan in the World Series, those races get 4 hours to complete. So 2 hours 30 minutes is the time frame. We are already 1 hour and 9 minutes into this race. So we have an hour and 20 minutes left to try to get through 59 laps once we go back green. Easier said than done. It is Camyron Moore, front of the field. Champ Car officials keeping an eye on the situation at this point. If we get to 10 cautions in the first 40 laps, there's got to be a huge conversation held. Camyron Moore in the catbird seat as it stands at the moment. Roberto Crown Jr. knows at this point time is precious at the front of the field. Katrina Ochoa in third place, also in the mix. Then you have Rex Riley, the first car, a lap down in front of Isabel Espinoza. There's Yuya Ishii from last, currently to fifth. Jace Clark, Rachel Koivanemi, side by side for a moment. Clark survives that. But Koivanemi sends it to the inside of turn 7. It clears the 9 and immediately tries piecing up Yuya Ishii side by side for a moment. Ishii stays clear through 9. Side by side further still, it's Seto and Kurachenko. Green flag still flying. And we will complete another lap here. We'll complete lap 38 with Camyron Moore, front of the field. The Canadian driver looking for race win number 1. Knowing time is precious at this point. Roberto Crown Jr. looking for his first win in Champ Car competition. Numerous race wins in the NAMRA Cup Series. And Camyron Moore drives it out wide. Crown with a chance. Through turn 4. Close, but not close enough. He's got another shot here into 7. Ochoa in third. Isabel Espinoza back up to the top 4. Ishii under duress from Koivanemi, trying to find a way around Rex Riley, who's wounded. Car in the sand, and it is Camyron Moore, the race leader. Camyron Moore off in the sand. And I think that's caution number 10, it is. And car 10, Roberto Crown Jr. leads the way as we come around to complete lap number 40. It's a car really off to the inside. That is Rex Riley being passed by both Ishii and Koivanemi at the same time. And a little bit of a nudge for Koivanemi, who was not happy that Rex Riley was in the way. Maria Chavez's race officially over. They've relinquished themselves out of this competition. Roberto Crown Jr. leads under the 10th caution. Again, 49 laps need to be completed for this race to be official. If the race is called off at this point, it is canceled and no points are scored. Cautions so far. We are on lap number 40. They come down pit lane. They've got to act as if the race is going to keep going. There's been no indication that this race is going to be stopped just yet. I'm assuming They're hoping that we make it to halfway. At this point, Yu Ishii will end up taking over the lead of this race from last on the grid to a lap led. Ishii will lead the field to green here to start lap 42. And what has been a very unusual event so far. Cars have continued to drop out here in spades. We're down to 22 out of 32 that started this race here in Sonoma. More cars wearing battle scars than not at this point. Yu Ishii survived basically all of it at this point and had to go from dead last to do it. Rich Koivanemi wants a chance to get back to victory lane once again. A win's a win. No matter how messy the race is, Yu Ishii likewise needing to try to get a championship campaign on track after what has been a very chaotic and perturbing time in California so far. Ishii leads the field to green. Once again, we go racing. Lap 42 has begun. Ishii now under extreme pressure from Koivanemi, who wants the race lead back. Runs a little bit wide, but keeps it safe and on the asphalt. Leading the way. Koivanemi giving some space as well. They're just trying to take their time here at this point. Koivanemi peeks to the inside. Ishii smart to cover it off. Keep an eye on those rear view mirrors. Through 9. And around the hill we go. Side racing there for Rex Riley as they all get through. Relatively unscathed, a few cars lingering further behind. And you see cars with the caution out for the 11th time. And it's for Arashi Seto. I think I might be mistaken here. It looks like there might be issues further afoot here. See if we can try to figure out what happened here. Green flag out and then yellow flag immediately back out. And this is not at all, this is what happened. So it was further afield here. So let's go ahead and see if we can rewind this. We're not having a good time. Yeah, this is Riikka Venäläinen turning Arashi Seto in the hairpin. Oh, and someone came to a complete stop here and stalled the car. And that's Seto's the one that stalled. Seto's the one that stalled on the restart and pinned Riikka Venäläinen. Venäläinen just trying to get clear and get going again. Seto finally gets going as well, as they're having to refire that car. Not very often you can refire the cars like that. So that's why caution came out there for the 11th time. Cars coming down pit lane. At least looks like at least a couple are coming down pit lane here. That is Riikka Venäläinen and one of the cars coming down pit lane. Black flag for Kira Moore. I'm assuming that is the passing before the green, because Kira Moore was last in the line, so that's going to be a drive-through. Car leaving pit lane. That is the 35 of Mia Vitsu, who drops down to provisionally right now the 14th position. But we'll get a spot back when Kira Moore serves her penalty. Lanning getting that front wing checked after that contact with Asada Kito. Not Asada Kito, with Arashi Seto, excuse me. And everything continues on. Ishii once again leads the way. Koivanemi second. Jace Clark, the 9 car, in third. Over Natai Kurachenko and Nera Takarasi. Spasi Megalos has had a wild race so far in the 66 car, but up to 6th. Roberto Crown Jr. 7th. Over Felicia Zappa, Isabel Espinoza, Katrina Ochoa, the top 10. Emily Bolsatrix, Mia Vitsu, Sadakito, and Kira Moore will be how the 14 cars line up here on the lead lap. Rex Riley, Keisha Fox, Katerina Malinkovic, Yumina Mizuno, and Arashi Seto all 1 lap down. Riikka Venäläinen 2 laps down. And Karina Sakurauchi 4 laps down, still running. And thankfully so, what could have been easily a 5-point day now looks at least to be 10 points on the day. If things continue on, 21 cars still running. Go green at the end of this lap. Had 11 cautions here in this race. We are close to the halfway point. Green flag, back out, away we go, and immediately Keisha Fox peeks to the inside, defending from the Kurachenko. That was almost disastrous once again. Instead, everyone largely makes it through turn 1 okay. Clark trying to find a way around Rex Riley, who is now on the lead lap, and Clark goes for a lot right to the sand and loses a spot to Keisha Fox. Might lose more. There's Takarasi. Now rolling out of 7 towards turn 9 now. Teammates side by side there for a moment with Ochoa and Isabel Espinoza there. Everyone's still rolling now towards turn 11. Ishii under threat, under pressure from Koivanemi. who has been the faster car between the two. Toyota's first and second. And third, because Keisha Fox right there in that third spot. Sorry, never mind. Keisha Fox is still a lap down. My apologies. So Jace Clark still third. Keisha Fox, though, wanting to race forward here. So Jace Clark still third, still on the podium. Takarassi's ahead of Kurachenko for fourth and fifth. Katerina Milinkovic also a lap down at the moment. And Roberto Crown Jr. goes off for a little excursion into the sand, allowing the door to open up for Felicia Zappa and maybe Isabel Espinoza. Zappa clears before 7. Isabel Espinoza trying to clear in 7. And does. And then side by side further afield, it's Kito and Mizuno. Kieran Moore served that penalty for passing on the last restart before the start-finish line. Ishii now dispatching Koivanemi a little bit here. Drifting a little bit wide there through turn 3. We are getting notification that the next caution of this race will end it. It'll get us to lap 49 if there is another caution here imminently. So everyone knows what they're racing for at this point. Takarasi stays ahead of Kurachenko side by side. A little bit of contact between Zappa and Megalos at turn 9, but everyone keeps it in the right direction. Ishii will lead us to the halfway lap. Remember, it's halfway plus 1, so 48 laps is halfway. 49 need to be completed. Yuya Ishii in the very good position to do that. Fox drifts out a little bit there ahead of Jace Clark, now for position there. See at the front of the field as they go through 7. Roberto Crown Jr. right now sitting in 6th, ahead of Aspasia Megalos. There is Isabel Espinoza once again under threat from Amity Pulsatrix. Pulsatrix ahead of Karina Sakurauchi, who is not on the lead lap. Whoa, trouble, and there goes Mizuno and Zappa, and that is the caution that does end the dagger. Caution will come out, and Yuya Ishii will be the race winner. So trouble for Mizuno and for Felicia Zappa, and once again, turn 9 will seal the fate as the field completes 48 laps. Sorry, completes 48 laps. It will complete lap 49 under caution, and that'll be it. Step aside for a second to collect ourselves and get a final tally on where we stand. Welcome back, everyone, to live coverage here of the Grand Prix of Sonoma, called at 49 laps. After 12 cautions, a very accident-filled race. Champ Car officials have elected to end this race early. It is official, completing 49 laps here in Sonoma. Yuya Ishii will be classified as the race winner ahead of Rachel Koivanami and Jace Clark. Nara Takarasi, Natai Kurachenko round out the top 5 ahead of Roberto Crown Jr., Espacia Megalos, Isabella Espinoza, Amity Pulsatrix, Mia Vitsut, Asada Quito, Felicia Zappa, Kira Moore, and Katrina Ochoa. The 14 cars on the lead lap. Rex Riley, Keisha Fox, Katerina Malinkovic, Arashi Seto, Yumina Mizuno, and Rika Venalainen round out your top 20 here. Karina Sakurauchi, the last car running in 21st. Ahead of Maria Chavez, who starts the retirement list here. A long retirement list. Chavez, Hoshino, Seth Smith Jr., Fang, Amara, Del Blanco, Isabel Lantra, Jake Carter, Maria Damata, Sonia Walker, and Luisa Floros, all out of this race. And what was a very tumultuous event here in Sonoma, it has been brought to an end by Champ Car officials out of concerns of further safety issues. At this point, 12 cautions in 49 laps. Half of the race officially run under the yellow flag conditions. Obviously not a satisfying conclusion here for Sonoma. The Champ Car officials finding it best to stop the bleeding at this point and move on to Indianapolis with a month layoff here between Sonoma and Indianapolis. We'll be back again for the Challenger Series in May 17th for the Gamebridge 300 from Indianapolis, from the Brickyard. The Champ Car World Series will be live next weekend from Homestead Miami Speedway for the Hard Rock 300 before they also head to Indianapolis for the month of May. But for the Challenger Series, not the best way they want to head into the month of May. Everyone at this point, I think, more than willing to just look beyond Sonoma and look into the rest of the season here. Again, Yuya Ishii, by race stoppage, the winner of the Spotify Grand Prix of Sonoma after being called on lap 49.96. Yuya Ishii leading and winning over Rachel Koivanami, who will take over the lead of the championship, and Jace Clark, who sits third and on the podium here. A podium I don't think many want to celebrate as we head into Indianapolis. Again, we will see you again next week in the World Series. Heads to Homestead, Miami. The 26 drivers, best in the world, battling for the World Championship. They head to Miami for race 7 of the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. We'll see you there. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Sports, and everyone here for the Champ Car Challenger Series, we thank you for tuning in for us here in Sonoma. We'll see you again in Indianapolis. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and congratulations to Yuya Ishii, finally a Champ Car race winner under the most unusual circumstances as we now head to the Brickyard. So long, everybody.